Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about my 2021 progress so far in January. As of today, I believe it is the 24th, a Sunday. So by the time I post this video, it may be the 25th or the 26th. So forgive me for being a little outdated, but I'm doing my best. What I really wanted to talk to you guys today was just like how far I've gotten this first month or so. I haven't really done too much. I know a lot of you guys were really excited for me to do Tagalog. And for that, I have to say I am so sorry. I haven't gotten anywhere I'd like to be in Tagalog. I don't have any books on Tagalog. I've only done like free sample lessons on some websites, and I have studied a bit with a friend, but that's about it. At the current moment, my Tagalog is limited to Kumusta ka? Salamat, salamat po. Batang lalaki, I believe it is. Batang lalaki. Yeah, little boy. So very small. I'm still trying, we all have to start somewhere. And right now I'm just starting at the very bottom. But, that's how it is with every language. And hopefully, I'll get better over time and be able to improve myself and my speaking. And maybe we'll see some huge progress. Who knows? One thing I really did want to talk to you guys about was actually a certificate that I got for Busu for my A2 completion of French. So now I'm entering intermediate French territory, which I'm really excited for, and I really want to push myself. With the test, it's nothing official. It's not like the DELF or anything that you would take at the embassy or at your university or college. But for me, it's kind of a big step in moving forward with my French and being able to find myself in a comfortable position where I am and learning what I can do, just kind of finding my limits. But so far, that's the biggest thing that I really wanted to talk to you all about. I also wanted to talk about studying apps. So currently I'm using Busuu, which is kind of like my favorite right now. There's just so much to it. You can do real life articles, you can do travel language studies. So say you have a trip planned for Paris, or you want to go to Madrid, Spain, or Berlin, Germany. They have lessons categorized for that, so that way you know what you're saying when you're traveling. For me, I just did the main lessons, which is just standard, starting at level A1 and then working your way to a B2 level. They only go up to B2. They don't have a C1 or C2 level, which is kind of sad for me. I really do like trying to push myself, especially since with French, I do want to kind of reach a fluency point. I was thinking maybe B2, C1, but we'll see where it goes from there. I am really excited though with Lingodeer, which so I started Lingodeer and I bought the lifetime membership, and I'm really, really happy with it. It's super impressive. I like the lessons, the way they're planned out. My only disappointment with Lingodeer is that the lessons themselves, for me, I've been trying to have conversations a lot, especially in apps like HelloTalk, where language exchange apps, and then talking with my Korean friends. I found that when it comes to Lingodeer, I'm learning phrases and I'm learning words and new vocabulary. I just don't feel like I'm starting at the right point. So I did have to kind of backtrack a bit and try something else. But, I like where I'm at, and I'm really proud of my accomplishment. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys Lingodeer. So it's going to have a setup. Oh, if the camera will set. Okay, there it goes. So it's going to have a setup like this. Oh, and there it goes again. I'm just going to explain it myself. Basically, you're going to have your alphabet, nationalities, this and that, everyday items, phrases, negation, one, question one in public, and then a test out. And that is about the first eight or so lessons on Lingodeer. I really like it. It's fun. It's very interactive. There's also a second app that you can download called Lingodeer Plus. That one has a lot more study options, and I would say Lingodeer Plus is more targeted towards like memorization and your vocabulary skills, doing flashcards, doing word reviews, listening practice, a lot of those. So it's helpful. It does cost more for Lingodeer Plus, on top of the $100 or so that you will already be paying for a regular access to Lingodeer. So you are going to be looking at a little bit on the pricey side. For some of you, that may be okay. For others, it may be not. Which I'm so sorry, because I wish I had more to tell you. I do know that there are online websites that you can find. I believe Talk to Me in Korean has a YouTube channel for free where they do online lessons. I also enjoyed Billy Go. Billy Go is also the one who made these Korean textbooks. So I have the first workbook, and then I actually have another workbook for it. So I really like Billy Go. His materials, he's got lessons on YouTube for free, and he keeps it in the mindset that not everyone is going to be able to afford expensive language lessons, and I really, really appreciate that. Next off, let's see, new methods. So I am doing a notebook. I'm really happy with my notebook. If I had a lot more notes in it, a lot of my notes are actually on my computer, on my laptop. So it's been a lot of like sitting down and finding the time to copy and write down everything that I already have on my laptop, which I really don't mind that. It's just, I am going through college and high school, so I also have finals coming up, and I have assignments that I may need to catch up on, or I have an essay due. A lot of those things are really important, but also very time consuming. So it's really important and really necessary to find the time to get these items done and get what you need done, because a lot of times you might be stuck on something and it's going to take sitting down maybe for an hour or 30 minutes and trying to figure it out on your own, putting it together in your head piece by piece. I've done notes. I've also done online studying. I've watched probably 25 K-dramas in the course of 3 months. And it's amazing to me. I love K-dramas, and I've been using those a lot for my auditory exposure. Constantly listening to it. I've been learning phrases via K-dramas, and I've actually, I've practiced typing those out to friends, and I'll be like, hey, is this correct? Am I spelling it right? And they'll say me, yes, no, here's what you need to improve. Maybe try to back it down a bit. Oh, that is too informal. Try making it more formal. Add the yo form or the nida form. So I've been working a lot with Korean. Actually, I've been working with Korean more so than any other language I've been practicing so far. I mean, of course, French. I worked a lot on French for the last 6 months in 2020. But as of 2021, my main focus right now is Korean, because, I made a dedication to it, and I'm going to stick to it, and I'm going to push myself, and I have a goal for at least A2 in Korean for this year. For French, I believe it's B2, and then Spanish as well as B2. Those are kind of like my big strong pushes right now and goals that I have, and I'm trying to get ready for. Another studying thing that I've been doing is a lot of flashcards online. So I believe there's Anki, which is really helpful. I do use Quizlet quite a bit. I've also been watching a lot of YouTube videos that have a vocabulary list, and then I write them down, and then I'm just running over. I bought flashcards for French a while ago, and it comes in a big long box, and there's probably 1,000 in there. There's so many flashcards. But those flashcards also help just keeping my mind going constantly and adding those memorizations to myself. I watch a lot of Korean YouTubers now. I don't know if any of you are quite into this, but ASMR. And typically before I go to bed, or like if I need to just relax and tire myself out, I put on Korean ASMR YouTubers, and I'm just constantly like listening, even if it's soft spoken and meant to make you go to sleep. Sometimes I'll just think in my head and I'll start dreaming about something in Korean, just trying to get myself to focus on Korean 24/7. I know it is kind of exhausting, and a lot of it, some people say, oh, you don't need to study a language 24/7. And I really do believe that. Like, you don't have to study a language 24/7. Set a goal that is easy for you to work around, maybe 3 days a week, 4 days a week, or 2 days a week. But also set in like a time frame. What time do you want to start? My time frames have kind of gotten messed up. It has been a little chaotic. But that is a story for another time. And, just keeping yourself focused. What else? We have, answering questions that some of you left in the comments on my last video. So I saw this actually quite a bit. I was a little shocked. Well, maybe not so much shocked as I was just like, oh, I've never thought about that. And many of you asked me, like, how many languages do I plan on learning? I don't have a limit, and I think it's kind of important for myself not to set a limit. So for me, I just kind of like want to learn languages till I die. Take ever so many languages with me to my grave, and and along with my knowledge of those languages. I've thought about languages almost my whole life. Growing up, I always wanted to be like Indiana Jones, but I could speak 20 languages. I wanted to travel the world and go see ancient sites and then be able to speak that language. And you know what? I want to go see the Hagia Sophia in Istanbul, and I want to speak Turkic. I want to go see Mount Athos in Greece, or Athens in Greece, and I want to speak Greek. I never set limits to myself, even as a child, just thinking about it. And I don't want to do that even as I grow up. So for the time being, I've got 4 languages that I'm focusing on right now, 5 if I'm counting Tagalog. And, I'm just going to keep going as I get older. I'm going to go to that point in a language where, I'm comfortable. I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to move on to the next language. And that's how I want to move forward in my language journey, is just, finding a place where I'm comfortable in a certain given language. I need 2 languages, 3 languages, 4 languages, 5 languages, 12 languages for all I care. I want to be comfortable where I'm at, and then I want to move forward and learn more and just keep pushing myself. So that is kind of my big conclusion to that question is no, I do not have a limit, and I don't want to put myself under a limit. And if you have a limit, that's okay. Not everyone wants to do that. And, it's totally fine. Some people just want to do it more than others. And you know what? Kudos on you for even being bilingual. 2 languages, if that's enough, good on you. At least you learned a language, and that's what's important to me. Languages that I wanted to learn though, like in the future. So before making this video, I did actually consider making another video, and I had film for it. It didn't go the way I'd liked it to, but basically I was talking about language apps I was using and what languages do I want to learn in the future. Now, that is a tough question because there's so many languages in the world that I want to learn them all, but I can't. I mean, maybe I could someday in the future if I had a brain upgrade, but for the moment, I'm going to have to wait on that. Languages that I really would like to learn would have to be Afrikaans. So I've noticed that there has been kind of a movement of Afrikaans lately. I don't know if it's just me thinking that, or maybe I'm delusional. But I've noticed that there's more availability to learning Afrikaans. And that is a language that has really grabbed my mind. Lindy Botis speaks Afrikaans, and that was kind of a big push for me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like one of my greatest influencers, and she speaks Afrikaans. And then when I was at Polyglot Conference online for the 2020, there were other Afrikaans speakers. And, it just kind of blew my mind. I was like, what? I never really considered this language. I knew it was a Germanic language in Africa, but I never really paid too much attention to it. And now it's kind of surged and I want to learn it. Another language would have to be Hawaiian. So when I was in Hawaii, I fell in love with Hawaiian. The language itself, the alphabet, it's so interesting. The way it's structured, how it's spoken, and the revival of it. Hawaiian has been kind of dethroned as a major language in Hawaii. It's still there, but I would have to admit that, it's kind of neglected. I know it is taught in schools, and I'm really happy for that. But I would like to do my part in speaking Hawaiian and maybe becoming fluent, and then adding to that number of speakers of Hawaiian and just contributing to, helping indigenous languages survive. Another language that I would like to learn is Occitan. The only problem with Occitan is there's not a lot of resources anywhere. There's books on Amazon. They're like one book, and it's on stories, and it's actually for people who already speak Occitan. The problem with me is I don't already speak Occitan. I would also like to learn Catalan. Now, Catalan has really caught my interest, mainly in part to the Catalan independence movement, and Catalan being kind of a mixture romance language that has grabbed my attention, and I would like to see where it would take me, especially now that I can speak French at an intermediate level, beginner, intermediate, and Spanish at an intermediate level. I just want to see where I can go with that language and how far I can get. Another one would be Romanian. So Romanian caught my attention a long time ago. The problem is I just kind of didn't have the proper interest in it to push myself to learn it. I got carried away with French and Spanish, and I was thinking, I'm going to learn Romanian. But with Romanian, there's not a lot of speakers in the United States. I'm sure you can find speakers online and through language exchange apps, but at the time, I just didn't have the money for the language exchange apps, let alone the mindset to just put myself towards Romanian. Now, in the future, that's definitely a language I'm going to keep my eyes out for. Another language would have to be Japanese. Now, I don't know about you guys, I watch a lot of anime, and I would really love to know what they're saying without having to read the subtitles. If I could just listen to an anime and understand it. I do understand a little bit of Japanese only because I watched anime for years now, since middle school. And I can understand, okay, that must mean this in that language. Okay, this would have to mean thank you. This has to mean hello. This has to mean, oh, hey, and piecing together what you hear. Infant steps. How do babies learn a language? Well, they learn from constant exposure by their parents and hearing it. And then, okay, I'm going to assign that word with this because every time my mother says that word, she assigns it with that activity. So that's what it must mean. And that's where I'm so far with Japanese. Japanese is really, really interesting for mainly different writing styles. You've got katakana, kanji, hiragana. Those really grab my interest. I'm like, what language do I know has multiple writing styles like Japanese? Of course there probably are. I just don't know them at the moment. But hopefully in the future I will. But at the moment, yeah, Japanese. Another language would have to be Chinese. Now, Chinese is also a very broad saying because within Chinese, you also have, languages in China like Tibetan, Uyghur Turkic, Mongolian. There's the Korean dialect spoken in Manchuria. There is Fuzhounese, Shanghainese, so many that I couldn't even process if I tried to. Cantonese, of course. So what I'm thinking about Chinese is possibly doing Cantonese. I think it's because I believe there's a lot of Cantonese speakers in California, and I'm not quite sure. I'll have to look at those statistics again. It's also just a language that's caught my mind because I've always wanted to travel to southern China and Hong Kong, and going to like Hong Kong Disneyland and just enjoying the culture there. And I would love to travel there, except, they don't speak Mandarin or standard Chinese. They speak Cantonese. Now, that is about it so far. There's only so many languages that I can learn and that I can push myself to. But I hope you guys really like this video. Please subscribe, please like, and I hope you guys watch my other videos, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, bye.